I went back to Popeyes, and the last time that I went, I actually had pretty good customer service. But this time around, I pull up to the drive through and I have my mom with me. So we were going to buy two of the same thing. So I pull up and I say, "Hello, I would like two number fours, 5 pieces, blackened." And then the lady was asking me 3 or 5 piece, and I said 5 piece just to make sure, blackened, and it's number four, just the tenders. And then two people start talking at the same time, and then they ask again, is it 3 or 5 pieces? And I said 5 pieces. They start talking over each other again and ask if I wanted just the tenders. And at that point, I'm pissed off because, like, on 3 occasions, you talked at the same time. You're pretty disorganized. So, what I did was I sped to the window since I was the only person there. And then they came over. It was like 3 people just standing by the window looking at me. And I said, yeah, what I was trying to do was 2 orders of the number four, 5 pieces tenders, blackened. That's it. And she said, so you don't want the combo? And I'm like, right, just the tenders. I don't need sides or drinks or anything. We pay for it. And then I see that on the receipt, it says like chicken tender 199 and it's multiplied 10 times, but it came up individually on the receipt. And I was like, I've never seen that before, so let me ask about it. I was asked to wait on the curb, and at that moment I said, you know what, while I'm waiting, let me go in there and ask about it. I talked to 2 different people. First, the lady who helps me initially, she looks at it and she's like, oh, yeah, that looks weird. And then she asks a guy who's like right next to her and asks him, and then he makes sure. And I say, just to make sure, I had 2 orders of the number four, 5 piece, and blackened. And on the receipt, I don't see that it says blackened. So I just want to be sure. And then he says, yeah, that's right. That's usually how we do it. And then another lady who I hadn't seen before comes up and says, what's happening or what's the problem? Something like that. And then I completely ignore her. And I'm like, so just to be sure, that's the same as, I don't know, ordering individually. And then the guy explained to me that because I wasn't doing the combo, then that's why they had to do it like that. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. Because now that I think about it, now that I look at the menu more closely, I guess you guys only display the price for something when it's the combo. You don't have like an individual non-combo listing. And then he says exactly. And I'm like, okay, cool, like no problem. What I hated about this experience is that when I was trying to tell the people at the window what I wanted, they came at me with like a really nasty attitude. She was like, so what you wanted was 10 pieces, blackened tenders. And yeah, that's what I was telling you or asking you, da 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 da. And I'm like, the reason I pulled up here is because 2 people kept talking at the same time. And I really want to make sure that my order is not messed up. So just to make sure, number four, 2 of them, 5 pieces, blackened. And then anyway, they said a few more things, but they just had like this crazy attitude about it. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because I just wonder why it is that some workplaces have such a weird difference when it comes to the quality of customer service that you get. What makes a place give good customer service? Is it that individually, the person who happens to be helping me is one of those people who's like arrogant or impatient and simply lacks people skills, and they try to make it about competing against the customer or trying to prove them wrong or something? Or is it that places like that do not care about customer service quality, but instead they just want to get the order out? Even if it's inaccurate, but then when it's inaccurate, they try to make it seem like it was your fault. Even though, like Ma was saying, she said, there was nothing wrong about the way that you phrased the order. The problem was that she just was not understanding or was not focused or something. They kept talking over each other, and when you tried to repeat to them at the window what it was, she kept talking over you. And I said, "Yeah, mom, I hated that. I absolutely hated it. And I know that you wanted to clap back at them. But in a situation like that, what I like to do is remain calm because my own customer service is kicking in. So I'm doing like reverse customer service, and I'm just letting them know that, hey, you're treating me poorly, but just because you're treating me poorly doesn't mean that I'm going to lower my standards and status to match yours, because then I lose too. So I wonder why it is that, say, places like Chick-fil-A usually treat me with more courtesy than places like Popeyes, Burger King. But also, I have noticed that primarily it is women who give me bad customer service. Is it because it's a woman to woman conversation, and then I don't know, that attitude comes out from you? Or what is it? Because usually when it's the guys, it is extremely rare for me to get shitty customer service from a guy. So I'm trying to objectively figure out what it is that is happening. Is it a company culture thing? Is it an individual attitude thing? Is it that females just do not perform as well in jobs like that? In jobs where, say, they are being questioned, or they just don't like it when they don't get it right the first time because of an issue on their part. Because remember, what was so difficult about me saying I would like 2 No. 4s, 5 piece, just the tenders? Boom. What about that was confusing? And she kept saying 3 or 5 piece. She asked me that like 3 times. And even when I went up to the window, she was still asking me. And when I was talking to her, telling her my order all over, she was talking over me, asking me, so was it the 3 or 5 pieces? So, I'm trying to understand, why is it that, say, if I'm dealing with a man and I have to, for some reason, repeat myself, they tend to be much more polite about it than women. And I'm not trying to make this a men versus women thing, okay? Like, try to understand what my question is, because I know that I may not be phrasing it very well. In my personal experience, I'm trying to figure out if a man-to-man customer service differs. I don't think so, because when I go out with someone who's a man, this doesn't really happen with them either. They're the ones ordering or ordering on my behalf as well. And I noticed that it's not about that. It's not about me being a female, but is it just a company culture thing? I'm starting to believe that maybe that's what it is. That this is a place that doesn't really care about things like that. Bojangles tends to be the same way too. It tends to be a hit or miss with the kind of customer service that I get. But I can tell you for sure that when I have a guy helping me, it's usually a better experience. But I do get that one female who gives me excellent customer service too in places like this. So I'm trying to figure out, why is it that on a day like today, I was experiencing that kind of customer service? Is it the squad that's there? Because to be fair, those folks I had never seen before. And I cannot say that I frequent that location, but at least within the past month, I have visited 3 times and I hadn't seen this new squad. There was a giant now hiring sign. So it leads me to believe that this might be a case of new people, and maybe you're overwhelmed with the new job, even though the place was super dead at the time that I came up. My question is, who do you guys think provides good customer service? Who tends to provide better customer service? In this instance, let's make it a men versus women situation. Do you think that it matters based on industry, job type, position, experience on the job? Do you think that company culture has to do with that? What are the places that you feel you are more distinguished as a customer from how the workers treat you. Say at Aldi, I never expect good customer service at Aldi. Like, I cannot say that I have ever been blown away by the service that I have gotten there, at least in recent memory. I hate it. I don't go there unless I have an absolute emergency. And that doesn't happen but once, maybe every 3 years from the average that I have going on. But yeah, you guys, it frustrates me, but at the moment that it happens, I stay calm. But I just wonder why it is that usually when I'm the customer, I find myself arguing with women, arguing. It's them who are arguing with me. I'm not arguing with them. But like, why is it that I have a tougher time with them than with the guys? You guys let me know if you see where I'm coming from, if you go out enough to be able to observe this, and if you see where I'm coming from. I'm really not trying to create a divide or conflict here, but I'm telling you, it's not my imagination. I go out often enough. I have a job at customer service, and when I'm the worker, usually it's the women who tend to be the challenging customer. And the only time that guys give me an issue, in the 3 times that they have given me an issue, it has to be over my technique about doing something. And usually it's them, I guess, believing that they know better than me over it. But then when my manager comes over, it's like, yeah, that same thing that she was trying and doing was not working, and she needed me to get it done because only I can get it done, and that's why you needed to wait. So if you're mad at somebody, be mad at me. So that's it. I want to say I have an issue with a guy once every 3 years, and then with women it's like once maybe every 2 months or so. So definitely more often. And now during the holidays, that number tends to increase a little bit. But yeah, you guys, let's have an open and real conversation about this, because I'm pretty sure that someone out there knows what I'm talking about. And hopefully you can really shine the light that I need on this matter, because I'm trying to figure out if the poor attitude from these people comes from home, an individual thing that they just developed, that's just their pride, or is it something that the company culture perpetuates? What do you guys think?